Britain faces yet another massive NHS disruption. Resident doctors, the medics who used to be called junior doctors, are walking out for 6 full days. That's right, from 7 a.m. Tuesday until 7 a.m. the following Monday. And according to one of the UK's biggest newspapers, this is proof that Keir Starmer is no longer in control. And another major election promise has completely collapsed. If you're waiting for an operation, have a hospital appointment, or just care about the state of the NHS, stick around. Today we're diving deep into what's happening, why it's happening, and what it means for all of us. Hit that like button if you're fed up with endless strikes, and let's get into it. This will be the 15th round of industrial action by resident doctors in England since March 2023. The last time they struck in December, over 17,000 medics walked out on average each day. Hospitals are already preparing contingency plans, but routine services are going to grind to a halt. Emergencies will still be covered, but thousands of appointments, operations and scans are expected to be postponed or cancelled. The financial hit? According to the Centre for Economics and Business Research, this 6-day strike is projected to cost the cash-strapped NHS around £300 million and knock another £43 million out of the wider economy. That's roughly £7.2 million per day in lost productivity, missed appointments and delayed treatments. And remember, these figures don't even count the long-term pain for patients stuck on those record waiting lists. So what's the row actually about? The British Medical Association, BMA, rejected the government's latest pay offer, and they didn't even put it to a member vote. The deal included a 7.1% rise for many, with extra focus on the lowest paid first-year doctors. Under that package, a brand new doctor would have taken home an average of around £52,000 a year. That's £12,000 more than just 3 years ago. More experienced resident doctors would have seen their basic pay climb to £77,348, with average total earnings topping £100,000 when you factor in extra hours and shifts. Overall, the offer would have left resident doctors 35.2% better off than 4 years ago, one of the biggest real terms boosts in the entire public sector. The BMA says it's not enough and claims the government hasn't properly addressed their concerns on pay and jobs. But critics are calling this unforgivable after years of disruption, especially since these same doctors already received a 22% rise back in July 2024. Before the last general election, Keir Starmer repeatedly promised to end the carousel of damaging NHS strikes. He said things would get better under Labour. Fast forward to now. Just days ago, Starmer gave the BMA a 48-hour ultimatum: cancel the strike and put the offer to members, or lose 1,000 brand new training posts that were due to open this month. The deadline came and went. No cancellation. So the government has now pulled those extra training places. Starmer called the decision to strike reckless and said patients will be the ones who pay the price. The BMA fired back, accusing the Prime Minister of sabotaging talks. And here's the bigger picture. Since Labour took power, billions have already been spent on public sector pay rises. Unions, the argument goes, have smelled weakness and keep coming back for more. After years of this back and forth, public sympathy for the strikes is drying up fast. People are tired of seeing the NHS held to ransom while waiting lists spiral and the economy struggles. The wider damage goes far beyond 1 week. Every cancelled appointment means longer waits, more pain for patients, and extra pressure on an already overstretched health service. Look, nobody wants doctors to be underpaid. They do an incredibly tough job. But when one side rejects a deal that would have delivered massive pay increases without even letting members vote on it, and when a Prime Minister's clear election promise lies in tatters, it's fair to ask, who's really running the show? This latest strike kicks off tomorrow. We'll be watching closely to see how bad the disruption gets and whether any last-minute talks happen over the weekend. What do you think? Should the government cave and give more, or is it time for the BMA to put this offer to a ballot? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one.